Thanks for checking out another episode of Full Retard by Mentally Damaged. Today we have more my personal favorite entitled parents, so let's get to it. First up, Em wants to know why fellow passenger won't serve her. So this is my friend's story, not mine. He told me this story and I asked if I could tell it on Reddit. For simplicity, the only acronym I will use is M, since they're well known. All other characters will get names. I will also be telling it like my friend is telling it. Cast M. Mark, my friend John, flight attendant on duty. Piper, some higher up worker. IDK positions in this job. Officer, police officer. Sam, Mark's friend, getting married. So I work for an airline as a flight attendant. However, I was heading to a friend's wedding in Hawaii, so I wasn't working that week. I decided I was going to fly the airline I work for since I knew how it worked and trusted it. So I got on the plane, no problem. We took off. A little after takeoff, I noticed someone I recognize. That person turns out to be John. I was recently working on a flight with John. I see John, John sees me, and a conversation starts. We talk about our lives outside on a plane and whatnot. Suddenly Em appears. Now at first she wasn't rude, just kind of joining the conversation. Weird. Yes. Rude. No. Em, oh, how do you two know each other? John, Mark and I worked on a flight together a week ago. Em, that sound fun. Mark, why aren't you in uniform? Me, well, I'm not working this flight. Em, but you're a flight attendant. You should be in uniform and serving the passengers. Me, no, I'm off this week to go to a friend's wedding. I'm not working. Em, you do work for this airline, don't you? Me, yes, but I'm off duty. Em, so you do work here. In that case, could you get my child water? Me, no, I couldn't because I'm not working on this flight. Em, no, you're a flight attendant, you serve me. You're not in uniform and you're refusing me service. Once this plane lands, I'll have you arrested. Now John left when she started repeating the same flawed logic. Thank the Lord, he was getting Piper. Piper, Mom, I was told you were being indecent to another passenger. Now I didn't know Piper before this, but we did become friends after this. Em, no, this man is an attendant. He is the one being indecent. Me, I work for this airline, but I'm not working for this fight. I don't work this week. Piper, sir, would you like to move? Me, yes please. Eventually we found someone willing to switch with me. This person just happened to be Em's husband, who got separated due to late booking, I'm assuming. So I lived the rest of my flight in peace. You would think it was over, but it wasn't. After we landed, I got off the aircraft and was headed to the food court because I was hungry. Sam said he was running late because of traffic, no biggie. So I'm casually eating my sandwich when a police officer comes up to me. Officer, sir, you need to come with me. Now I'm worried. I follow the officer through the airport to the security office, all with stuffing my face with food. When I enter the office, I see Em, with her hubby and child, nowhere to be seen. Officer, we have been informed that you have traveled overseas with no passport or visa of any sort. Me, wait, but I didn't travel overseas. My flight was from JFK to DKI. I never left the country. See, officer, he admitted it. He flew from America to Hawaii with no passport. Arrest him. So I realized she was angry at me for whatever reason and described my appearance to an officer so they could find me, and she could accuse me of illegal immigration within my own country. The officer realized that she is literally an idiot and lets me go and has her stay. I exit the office and find my friend Sam, who arrives during this ordeal. So I realize I'm not the best storyteller, but I put as much detail as I could using the info from how my friend told me. Next we have Karen and the cosplay fox. I'm not a furry. Well, not exactly. Seeing some posts about people at various conventions in costume brings back a story that I kinda forgot. It deals with just how entitled some people can be when it comes to seeing people in costume. So, some context before we get into things. About 10 years ago, I wrote a children's book which I self-published. The book centered around this cute little white fox named Kibu, who was sad that none of the other little foxes would play with him because he was different. He had white fur, and wore a cute red kimono, while they had red fur and didn't wear anything. The story was one that teaches kids that everyone's special for their own reasons, and that they should just be themselves and not try do what others think they should do, just because they're different. Shortly after writing the book, one commissioned a full, fursuit-type costume of Kaboo. Everything looked like my little character, right down to the kimono and cute soft tail and cute squinty eye look he often had in the book. I originally used this to promote the book, but over time I came to just make him a regular costume I would wear to conventions. Kaboo became rather well known at cons, where I'd give away copies of the book to parents or kids, and generally take photos. In any case, last year I decided to go to a local, and rather large con in the Midwest. So, I brushed off the costume's fur, had the kimono dry cleaned, and picked up a couple dozen of the books to hand out. Everyone seemed to absolutely adore Kaboo, and the kids all seemed to just love the big shy cuddly fox. At least until this lady, who henceforth shall be called Karen, appeared. Karen walked up with this cute kid, 12 or so, who was wearing a fox ear hoodie, and she asked if I minded taking a photo with her kid and she, because the girl simply adored foxes. I don't talk when in the costume, so I did my cutest, shy, fox look with my paws on my muzzle, and then nodded. Kneeling down beside the kid and mom, we had another con visitor take the photo, and then handed the kid one of the books before turning to move through the crowd. At least that was my intention. I got maybe 2-3 feet, when I felt a hand on my shoulder. Turning, I saw the lady looking at me, and in this sickly sweet voice she said, "Why don't you give her that mask?" Again, I don't talk, but I shook my head and counted it to one side, as if to say, "What mask?" Yeah, I really figured she'd leave it at that. I was wrong. Give her the mask. She likes it, and you're a grown woman. Pro tip, I'm a guy. You don't need to dress up. With that she reached out to try to grab at the mask head. I danced out of her way, backing up some, only to have her keep coming after me. "Just give it to her," she yelled. I finally gave in, breaking my silence, and said, "Lady, leave me alone." Hearing a gruff male voice seemed to shock her, and she backed up before turning and quickly scuttling off. I figured that was the end of it, and opted to go around to a few booths, take photos with people I know, hand out a few more of the books, and then do the usual, cute fox, act that I always do. I'd just finished giving out the last book, when I saw Karen pushing her way through the crowd, though this time she wasn't alone. She had a couple security guards with her, and proceeded to point at me and say, rather loudly, "That's the pedophile. He tried to molest my daughter!" Exclamation mark. Oh, fuck me. The security guys pulled me aside, and started asking all manner of questions, starting with what she'd claimed. Her story being that I had taken some very improper photos of her daughter, suggested something overtly sexual to the kid, and how she'd caught me and I ran off. I explained to the security that the whole thing started because she'd tried to take my character's mask, and she'd gotten pissed when I wouldn't give it to her. Security was, naturally, skeptical of this, and asked if I had any proof. I noted that we'd taken a photo with she, the kid, and myself, adding that I'd also given the kid one of the books I usually handed out. I did note to the security guys that Karen had probably deleted the photo, but they might be able to ask for it. The security guards nodded at this, noting that they didn't have the power to ask to see the phone, unless they had been given permission by the woman, or law enforcement demanded it. As this is going on, the kid is having a total fit. She's crying at the top of her lungs, yelling at her mom, and having a temper tantrum. Mom is cooing and going on about how she was going to make the bad man pay for what he'd done, when the kid just flips out on her. Little fox-hooded kid spills the beans, yelling that I didn't do anything, and it was all because Mom didn't get her way when she, Karen, tried to take the nice man's costume. Kid just flipped out, telling everything to the security, and making me just feel super sorry for the kid. She, the kid, ended it with something along the lines of, "This is why I'm glad I don't live with you. You ruin everything. I'm telling Dad when I get home." Karen went through several interesting shades at that point, ending with something that I'd say was this puke green mixed with a pussy white. Security banned her from ever setting foot on the convention property again, though they didn't ban her kid. I worried they might, but thankfully they didn't. They left and all was pretty much well. Sure, people still pulled my tail, or tried petting me, I don't mind that, and still kept thinking that there's a woman in the costume, but I didn't have much more trouble in the way of Karen. I saw the kid again, though this time with her dad, the third and final day of the con. I didn't speak to them, but I did give her a happy wave and she smiled and waved back. So, at least I think things were going well there. Karen, thankfully, was MIA. No complaints there. Note: due to some popularity, I'm also looking at a very limited reprinting of the book, which I'll be giving away to anyone that wants one. If you're interested, check back with me around October and I'll see if I can get you one. No charge, no cost. That's it for today's episode. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to like us on Facebook. Our first contest will be at 500 likes. If you have comments, email us at opinions@mentallydamaged.com, and if you're on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon to get all of our latest episodes.